What's going on, Titans fans? Welcome to Two-Tone Breakdown. In today's video, I want to take a look at where the Titans really stand in 2026. Are they a playoff team? Are they going to be 6, 7, 5 wins? Or are they going to be the same place they were this year? Let's talk about it. But before we just jump around and say words, we need to look at what they've done and what we can accurately predict. I mean, when I look at teams, because, I love watching football, when I look at teams who are playoff teams, who are championship teams, they all have a couple things in common, which last year we did not have. They were exciting to watch. Like, they had these star players. They had these, touchdown catches. We did not have that. It just felt like they were just running around sluggishly. But I believe that this year can change. And let me tell you why. To start, I just want to mention the most important person on this team, Cam Ward. Cam Ward, year 2. Yeah, he had an injury week 18, but I'm not too worried about that. Thank God it did not cause for surgery. But now he's coming in. I feel like with the addition of Carnell Tate, which I love the pick. At first, I was hoping for an Arvell Reese, but I could not have been happier with who we picked up, because in Cam Ward's development, the number one thing can be somebody who we can trust. And I feel like Carnell Tate throughout OTAs is somebody that we can look to trust throughout his college career. Yeah, a lot of people argue that he was a number 2 receiver, which he was, and that he might not have a good enough impact that we all hope for, but I strongly disagree. I think that Carnell Tate at pick number 4 will be a huge addition to this team and what we really need. I mean, if you think about it, we hoped that Treylon Burks would be our wide receiver 1. He wasn't. DeAndre Hopkins was just a quick fix, quick Band-Aid. I mean, A.J. Brown was the closest to a franchise wide receiver 1, and we all know what happened with that. So I feel like when we look at what a playoff team, what a championship team could be, we have to look from the ground up. I mean, we were 3-14 for 2 years straight. That is a huge, huge deficit. I mean, you got teams out here that win consistently. But I also want to point out something. The New England Patriots were 4-13. They hired a coach, Mike Vrabel. They got a franchise quarterback going into year 2. They made the right moves, made the right pieces, and they were in the Super Bowl. Not saying that we will be in the Super Bowl next year, because this is an honest talk. But I think that we have made some moves that can really help us out. So just starting off, by coming back to the point I just made, the wide receiver room has took a huge jump. Carnell Tate at the X, at the big wide receiver 1, is a huge fix. And then we signed Wan'Dale Robinson to a 3-year contract, which will be a immediate help, a little check down wide receiver, a slot. And when you think about the slot position, which I really like the signing of Wan'Dale Robinson, but I also like the addition of Brian Daboll, because number 1, he's a quarterback first guy. I feel like Brian Callahan, he did not mesh well, but I feel as though that Brian Daboll, not a head coach, but strictly focused on the offense and strictly going to be focused on helping Cam Ward out. Getting a 1,000-yard slot, which is crazy, a 1,000-yard slot to help him out alongside Carnell Tate, alongside Calvin Ridley, who was a 1,000-yard receiver before, alongside Alec Iomanor, Chimere Dike. Pieces like that I feel will build for a way better wide receiver core than just Alec Iomanor, Van Jefferson, Calvin Ridley. Like, these guys are guys you would expect to be depth pieces. But Carnell Tate, Wan'Dale Robinson, those are, number 1, I would like to point out that Wan'Dale Robinson is only 25, 26. He can grow with this team. Obviously, Carnell Tate can, but Wan'Dale Robinson can grow with this team. All we need, I feel as though, is just a wide receiver 2. We're going to plug and play Calvin Ridley to be that, but I think that if we can get somebody who isn't in the slot, but a wide receiver 2, I feel as though that we're complete wide receiver-wise. And then when you look at running back, this is a question mark that I have, to be honest with you guys. I feel as though that Tony Pollard, quick fix. He wasn't a 1,000-yard receiver. Tyjae Spears, I think, is going to be gone after this year. His contract's running out. But honestly, I feel as though that it's either going to be a fix in free agency next year. There's always good There's always good running backs that come out of free agency. And then also, I'm going to have to do some more research on the running backs in the 2027 draft. But I feel like when we take a big look at the offense, it's just all about big improvements, but we also have to be honest with ourselves. Our wide receiver group is not like Justin Jefferson, Jamar Chase, JSN. I mean, we all hope that Carnell Tate can turn into that, but I honestly think that Carnell Tate kind of reminds me of Chris Olave. I feel like he will turn into that level player, not a JSN type player, Puka Nacua type of player. So while there is massive improvements, we have to be level-headed with ourselves. Same with Cam Ward. I love Cam Ward. Cam Ward has a lot of things to improve on with his footwork, with his release, with his decision-making. I mean, we all know that he's a gunslinger. But one thing that I would like to point out is that he shows the flashes that we want to see out of a franchise quarterback. He is a little Mahomes. I mean, he makes these playoff level, Super Bowl level, improvising plays. He makes those highlight plays that we can see on Sunday. And I feel like if we give him a better supporting cast, it's over. So to wrap up the whole running back situation, I feel like it's just like a plug-in. It's a decent, like, I'm not going to be like, oh my goodness, we're worried about the running back position. I feel like that's just a plug and play, and then we can hopefully find, Nick Singleton could pop out and be our running back number one, but for right now, I think that is Tony Pollard's spot, and I'm not too crazy mad about that. Then the whole Will Levis situation, I want him gone, to be honest with you, and it's not his fault. I think he's a good guy, but I feel as though that football isn't just about ready, set, hut. It's all about the mental, the teamwork, the whatever. I feel as though that he saw that we gave up on him, and I don't think it's gonna mesh. So I think that we can try to package him up. Soon I will do a mock trade to see what would look like for him, but I think package him up for a 4th or a 5th. Somebody like the Giants, I think they would take him in a second. And then with the offensive line, to quickly wrap this up, Dan Moore, like I said, a plug guy. I think that for our left tackle, it's still a question mark. I think that the left tackle is the most important position on the offensive line. Checks the quarterback's blind spot. But Dan Moore, he's decent. Peter Skoronski is one of the best guards in the league. And then for center, probably going to be Austin Slotman, which is not that bad. And then right guard is where I question. When you think about the thought of Kevin Zeitler not coming back, then you are relying on rookies. And I feel as though that with wide receiver, it's good to have, rookies that can, develop. But I think that with Cam Ward in year 2, everybody saw that he was running around for his life. We need experienced veterans on this offensive line, unless it's somebody like Peter Skoronski, who is a good young player. If we just stuff a random rookie in the right guard spot, I don't think that that's going to work. And then right tackle, we got JC. JC, I would say 2 more years of bad play, and I think it's over. And then with tight end, I love the tight end position. We got new guys in this draft. We got Gunnar Helm. It's looking pretty darn good. So with the offense, I think that the way that it's looking, I think that the offense alone is going to improve our win total from 3 to at least 5. I think that this offense is going to be way more exciting to watch. We're going to have very little drop balls compared to last season. Come on. Eligah Minor, I'm really high on. I think that he can be a great football player, but crazy drops. Chimere Dike is going to be the best punt returner, give it 2 to 3 years. And he is an explosive wide receiver, but a lot of drops. That cannot fly if we want to be a playoff team soon. I've said it to people that I know that this is what I think is going to happen. I think that next year is going to be about the range of like 5 to 9 wins. That's just me being realistic. I think that there's a slight possibility that we can go 9-8, and that week 18, the Texans can rest all their starters. We can win against them. We can win against the Steelers, and we can maybe sneak in a wild card spot. That is the height. The bottom is that we win 5 games, but we show that, hey, we can compete against X, Y, and Z team, and that's what I'm looking for. So on the offensive side, I think that alone will just improve, number one, our morale. Number two, the fans will be way more happier seeing an offense that's competent. And one more thing I would like to point out about the offense, the play caller. Brian Daboll and Brian Callahan are two different people. Brian Daboll will run this offense and make it more exciting. I truly believe that. Brian Callahan, I mean, we all saw that one game where we got a delay of game, called a timeout, got another delay of game. I mean, come on. And then the countless fourth downs that we should have went for, I mean, come on. So to recap the offense, I think that Cam Ward in year 2 is going to be something exciting to watch. And then the elite wide receiver room, the elite jump. We do not have an elite wide receiver room, but the jump is significant. Running back, I think that placeholder, so I'm not too mad at that. Offensive line, I would say decent. If I had to rate it on a scale of 10, I would say the offensive line is at a 7. I think that Peter Skronsky seriously carries it. I think that Dan Moore is a placeholder, and I think that J.C. Latham can be a franchise right tackle, but right now, I mean, he hasn't proven much. So moving on to the defense, all I got to say is that Robert Saleh is going to make this defense a whole lot different. I mean, we all know that we have Jeffrey Simmons as the face of this defense. Also, 83rd best player? I mean, come on. The NFL is tripping. This guy is at the least a top 25 player in the NFL. But that's besides the point. I think that adding John Franklin Myers creates a top 3 interior defensive line in the entire league. Jeffrey Simmons is a monster. John Franklin Myers is a monster. The run game for our opponents will be harder. Edge, I'm concerned about. If we're being honest, Jermaine Johnson Jr. is our edge rusher number 1. Femi Oladejo, we have not seen him in OTAs. It does not look like he's going to take a huge jump. I really hope that he does, but I think that Jermaine Johnson is going to be our top producing edge rusher, and that doesn't really sit right with me. Keldrick Folk and Femi Oladejo, if everything works out, those will be our franchise guys, and that's really what I hope for. I mean, Keldrick Folk, he has potential. Femi, I wasn't really high on the pick, to be honest with you. I felt like there was plenty of other people that we should have took over him, but it is what it is. I mean, hopefully it can turn out to be we got 2 of our star edge rushers in the second round and in essentially the second round with the 31st pick. So with our defensive line, I think that the interior definitely carries. And I think that Jeffrey Simmons can also play out in the edge. Like, Jeffrey Simmons can move into the edge and be productive in the edge. So with our edge group, I feel as though that it's not a lost cause. People might say that, but it is not a lost cause. I think that Jeffrey Simmons is a key piece, and I'm so glad that we gave him the extension, because football is multiple things, like I said at the beginning of the episode. Another part of it is teamwork, leadership, and Jeffrey Simmons shows that. So my recap of the defensive line is that it's good. It's good. It's one of our strong parts, mainly because of the interior defensive line, and we have a lot of potential at the edge position. And then the secondary, I mean, Mike Borgonzi hit the secondary in the head. It was perfect. It was perfect. Mike Borgonzi went crazy. Alontae Taylor, Cordell Flott. Like, these guys can change our cornerback identity. I can't even tell you how bad our cornerback room was. Like, we had L'Jarius Sneed playing tag, playing hide and seek with us. But now we got Alontae Taylor, Cordell Flott, Marcus Harris will fight out a role, which I think that it is a real possibility that he can be our 3rd best cornerback. And then Amani Hooker, the rookie safety. Like, these guys are going to be our secondary is going to look way better. And if our linebacker position, I mean, Cody Barton, Cedric Gray, they're good. Cedric Gray, I think, is way better than Cody Barton. But, I think that Cody Barton is a placeholder for right now. And we'll figure that out defensively. But I think that defensively is our strong suit. And I think that our less strong suit is our offensive line. And I think that if we build a good offensive line, and if our offensive line coach works our offensive line, I think that we have a serious chance of hitting our ceiling. Like I said, I think that our floor is 5-12, and I think that our ceiling is 9-8. I think that the way that we hit our floor, Cam Ward poops the bed. Our offensive line is just wide open. The floodgates are open. And I think that our edge rushing group doesn't really get it together, and our secondary just gets smoked by these top competitions. I think that that is the way that we go 5-12. I think that we still sneak those 5 games. I mean, with games like the Jets, the Giants, I think that we will beat the Raiders. And I think that we will beat the Texans in Week 18 solely because they will be resting their starters. Because I think that the Texans will win the division. So, that is the ceiling. I mean, the floor. The ceiling, 9-8. I think that there is a possibility where we make the wild card. We would get knocked out the first round, but best believe I will come on here yelling and screaming and crying, and I'm not going to cry, but all these other things, because that is something that we have not seen in so long. And I've said many times, 2026, we're not going to make the playoffs, to be completely honest. I think that we're going to be right in the middle. I think 7-10 is where we look for this year, but I think that 2027 and the following years, like once we open the stadium, Cam Ward going into year 3. Another great offseason. We will be a playoff team. Next year, we will be a playoff team. So I think it's just one more year of holding off, and then it's to the moon. But the way that we can shorten that time is by hitting the ceiling of 9-8. I think that Cam Ward pops out. I'm talking 25 touchdowns, maybe like 8 to 10 interceptions. Tony Pollard and the running back room goes off for 1,000 yards. Carnell Tate goes out for 1,000. Wandale maybe goes out for like 750. Calvin maybe goes out for like 600. And in the defensive side, Jeffrey Simmons is who Jeffrey Simmons is. Gets another double-digit sack season. The edge rushers look good, look strong. Our secondary locks up as much as they can. I think that, and the offensive line, which is the most important, they hold up. If they hold up and protect Cam Ward and let him work his God-given magic, I think that we're scary. Because it is not about this year. It is about the future. And although we don't want to wait and just suffer and just tank, we want what's best for the future. And I think that next year is where our ceiling opens up. And then I think that 2028, 2029 is where we reach that Super Bowl contention. So when it comes down to, are we going to be competitive in 2026? It comes down to a couple things. What Cam Ward is going to do in his year 2 leap. Are the wide receivers really who they say they are? If the offensive line can hold up. And if this defense is really what we picture it on paper. That will determine if we hit our floor of 5-12 or if we hit our ceiling of 9-8. And that's just honestly what I think.